Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. Today we're going to talk about World of Warcraft. More specifically, we're going to talk about World of Warcraft Legion, the new expansion that was announced a couple days ago. So strap yourselves in, and let's go. To start off with, before the expansion was announced, the numbers for World of Warcraft, the current subscriber numbers, were released. Apparently, it's down to about 5.6 million, which is down from about 10 million when Warlords of Draenor, the current expansion, was released, and ultimately down all the way from about 12 million when they were at their peak subscriber numbers. So, as you can see, they've lost about half of their subscriber base from the time that they were at peak. So, this leads into the announcement for the next expansion, World of Warcraft Legion. Now, PC Gamer made an announcement, or they did a piece, I should say, either today or yesterday, and it said that, I believe the title was World of Warcraft needs its next expansion. And the reason that they go into to say the reason that they're saying that is that they're bleeding subscribers because the content in Warlords of Draenor was extremely repetitive. And I agree. The content in Warlords of Draenor started out, when you first got into it, it was fantastic. You got your own garrison, which was their version of player housing, and you got to decide what buildings you were going to place where within your garrison. You had to level up your garrison, and then once you did and you got these buildings in place, you had all of these different NPCs that would do different jobs for you. They would gather things for you, and they would run missions for you, and all these different types of things. And the mechanic was that you would eventually, as you leveled this thing up to level 3, you would have to spend quite a bit of time each day to go in there and reset all of your daily quests, send people back out again, and so forth and so on. Now, initially, it seemed like a great idea. Just like in the Mists of Pandaria expansion, the gardening, you had your little garden there to grow your own vegetables and all that stuff, which you could then use for cooking. That all seemed like a good idea, but it becomes extremely competitive. I'm sorry, not competitive, repetitive. So what you have is now you have this repetitive, these repetitive tasks that you have to do every day at your garrison. And the idea of player housing, when it's been done properly, never involved repetitiveness. It garnered and it inspired you to be creative. I'll give you a couple of examples. I always talk about EverQuest 2. You guys know I'm an EverQuest 2 player. I love the game. It's the closest thing with as far as immersiveness that I played, second to Star Wars Galaxies, of course, which is no longer with us. But EverQuest 2 is a great example, and also Rift is a good example. Rift did, when they instituted their player housing, it's called Dimensions. In Rift, their player housing, called Dimensions, allows you to do similar as you can in EverQuest 2. You can bring things that you get from quest rewards that are furniture or some type of adornment or some type of decoration for your player house, and then you can put it in your dimension in Rift, just like you can in EverQuest 2 in your house. And the cool thing about it is that it gives you a lot of flexibility on moving things around and decorating and making it very unique to a very unique space to you and your character. Whereas with Warlords of Draenor, World of Warcraft, It's not. The only uniqueness that you were able to do, the only customization that you could do with your garrison is what buildings you wanted to put up. But the buildings will all look the same. And then you can't decorate them. You can't make them look any way that you want to, and so forth. In EverQuest 2, you can make a tavern. You can buy a house, and you can decide, I'm going to make this the coolest tavern, and you can make the stuff yourself. You can build the building blocks and everything else, and build whatever you want to build, and make it look like a tavern. Or you can quest and get certain decorations through quest rewards and so forth like that. Or you can do a mixture of the two. You can do all different types of things. And in Rift, it's very similar as well. And I'm sure there's some other examples out there, but those are the two that jump to mind for me. So when World of Warcraft, when Blizzard decided to do player housing, what they did was they created a bunch of time sinks so that you would be stuck doing all these tasks every day, and it would get so repetitive, it would drive you out of your frickin' mind, and you'd quit doing it. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they didn't just give us space. And the other thing that they did was they keep tying these features to certain expansions and them only. Like the gardening thing. Once you left Mists of Pandaria, that's it. It doesn't go with you. You don't ever go back to it. That's it. These garrisons, they're going to stay in Warlords of Draenor. You move on to the next expansion. That's it. You're never going to go back to it. It just dies on the vine. Why they didn't institute something outside of your capital city with instanced housing there, where you could build your house, make it so that you could do it very unique, and customize it any way you wanted to, and put quest rewards, and if you killed Onyxia, you could get Onyxia's head and you could mount it on the frickin' wall or whatever. I mean, you could make it your own, and then doesn't matter what expansion you go to, it's always outside your capital city. You can always go back to that house. You can always have people over for role-playing. If you want to have other characters in your guild or whatever come over, and you want to build a tavern or whatever, and you want to have them over for and do some role-playing, you can do that in your home. The way they did it, horrible. I mean, it was fun at the beginning, but then that wears on you. Once the repetitiveness kicks in, you're done. You're not going to do it anymore. So anyway, so this Legion, this new expansion that they're talking about, looks to me like Burning Crusade times the sequel to Burning Crusade, the second expansion that they had. It's the box even looks like it. It's the same type of theme, demons and Outland and all that type of stuff. Which I think to myself, did the dwarves or the night elves or anybody else like that, did they not have any storylines that they could have done an expansion on, so that maybe we could have some different environments and things like that instead of keep going back to the Burning Legion and the Outland, and regardless of whether it's time travel or whatever, we seem to be visiting that, so that was the first thing that I saw. They're announcing a new class, Demon Hunter. I don't know. I don't know that I'm excited about that either. They did not choose to announce anything innovative. Like they could have said, okay, we're going to revamp trade skills, crafting, and we're going to make it so that you can actually make items that have stats, and the crafter can decide, I want to, instead of this reforging shit where you got to take, once you craft, then you got to take it to a reforge NPC and have them change the stats for you or whatever. No. Have the crafters be able to say, somebody hire a crafter and say, I'm hiring a weaponsmith I want this type of sword, and I want to have this much strength and this much stamina, and see if you can make it. And then make the crafter, maybe has to find rare ingredients to be able to make a sword with those stats. Don't say it can't be done, because Star Wars Galaxies did it, and we all know, anybody that played it can tell you that. You could put, there was there on armor, there was different types of layers that you could put for different types of resistance, and you could customize it any way you wanted to, and you could take custom orders for people, and you could build up your reputation as a crafter. They could say, oh, you got to go see that guy, because if you need custom armor, he can do anything. He has all the materials. He's gone out, he's searched all the different far ends of the galaxy and found all these different materials to make special armor. Go see him. He can do it for you. And then you could be, just like you could be the best raider on a server, you could be the best crafter. In World of Warcraft, everything you craft is the same as the next guy. So there is no customization or anything like that. So they didn't do that. They didn't do anything with trade skills. They did not announce time lock servers, and they've actually gone on record as saying that they don't think they have the ability to do time lock servers, even if they wanted to. And when I say time lock servers, I mean creating some servers that go back to vanilla WoW, to where everything was just like it was with vanilla. And there's a bunch of people that have made it so that you can do that. There is a way out there where you can do that. I'm not going to go into detail because it violates everything to do that. But there is a way to do that. So if they can do it, Blizzard can do it. So, and those servers apparently, I don't dabble in that stuff because I don't want to take a chance on, getting banned or anything like that. But apparently, from what I read on the internet, those servers that are playing vanilla WoW are booming. They got more people than they can freaking handle. If you did time lock servers, just like they did them in EverQuest 2, and they did them with EverQuest, first EverQuest, now they've done it with EverQuest 2, which I'm on time lock now. I love it. It takes you back to the original game, where all these people that want to go back and experience the content the way it was meant to be can do so. So, in my opinion, if they really wanted to do some different things, they could do real player housing based outside your capital city, so that no matter what expansion it is, it's always there for you. It's always an extra dimension of the game that you could have fun with. You could and customize it and so forth. They could have done that. They didn't. They could have revamped trade skills to make them viable. They didn't do that. They could have announced time lock servers to try and get their subscriber numbers back up. They didn't do that. I don't know what to say. I will probably buy it because I've bought every expansion. I always buy the collector's edition. I don't know what, I just have to. It's one of those sicknesses that I have where I have to, for whatever reason, because I've been there since the beginning, I feel like I have to do that. And I probably will again. So, anyway, that's enough for this rant, guys. Tell me what you think. Do you play the game? Did you play the game? Would you play on a time lock server? How would you feel about real player housing as opposed to something that's going to be stuck in one particular expansion? How would you feel about trade skills where you could make stuff that mattered, that you could customize and take custom orders and things like that? Give me your feedback. Let me know. We'll catch you guys on the flip side.